Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or whatever time it is in your local place. We are streaming live from the Copenhagen FinTech Lab, the World FinTech Festival, Copenhagen FinTech Edition. So welcome everyone. It's a cold and gray Copenhagen morning, but it's a warm studio, so we get a little bit of the Singapore feeling here in Copenhagen, so that's nice. My name is Thomas Krogh, and I'm the CEO of Copenhagen FinTech, and will be your host for this Global Scene event. So just a few words from me around Copenhagen FinTech and what it is we are focusing on today. So we are at the Copenhagen FinTech Lab at our sustainable studio that you can see behind me. From here, we host 300 events a year in 2,000 square meters in the middle of vibrant Copenhagen. We have had 130 FinTech companies sitting with us during the past 4 years since we were established in 2016. If you look at the ecosystem just in Denmark, it comprises of 280 FinTech companies. If you expand that to the Nordics, we count around 1,000 different companies working with innovative solutions within financial technology. We offer different programs for both domestic but also foreign companies wanting to launch their FinTech venture in Denmark and the Nordics and beyond. We host 60 really competent mentors that help the companies scale, and several programs, everything from incubation to acceleration. We are non-for-profit and association and work on positioning Denmark and the Nordics as a leading FinTech hub. So, just a little bit around what we're going to talk about today, because some of the things we will touch upon in this session will be partnerships. And we have done quite a number of publications and quite some thought leadership around this topic. So we started actually in 2019 with writing a white paper around the barriers of successful corporate and FinTech collaborations. It's a very like a practitioner's guide that will give you very concrete advice on this. A strategic perspective we published later from together with PA Consulting Group, and then some case-based research together with EY. So just for you to take a look at regarding this subject. So also why are we combining partnerships with sustainability? As you can see here, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway is ranking very high on the list of SDG achievements, which means that we think that Denmark and the Nordics are uniquely positioned to actually have a say in this agenda. Also, if you look at the most sustainable companies, you will see quite a number of Danish and other Nordic companies topping this top 10 list of most sustainable companies in the world. We've also mapped out the entire space here. So if you look at FinTech and look at FinTech solutions, companies that work within sustainability and impact, we actually map this out together with our partner Implement. So you'll also be able to access those insights from our website. So now, without further ado, I will actually leave the stage for the CEO of SimCorp, Klaus Holse, that will talk about exactly what I've just talked about: partnerships, sustainability, and financial technology. Go ahead, Klaus. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Thomas, and thank you all of you out there for watching this. I'm Klaus Holse. I'm the CEO of SimCorp. SimCorp is a FinTech company that has been here for almost 50 years. We serve the buy side of the investment management industry. We service the very biggest customers around the world. Anybody who manages $20 billion or up is kind of a typical customer of ours. We are a very global company in nature, and we are headquartered here in Copenhagen. The first slide I will show you is kind of how we spread around the world, and you'll see that we have a good presence here in the Nordics, but also very good presence in Asia and in the Northern American part of the world. So all of the biggest companies, all of the biggest investment companies around this is typically our customers. And for us, partnerships is important, and the way we can bring partnerships to all of these many customers around the world. So that's what we're going to be talking about. As I said, we are an almost 50-year-old company. We are global. I think we are getting close to 30 offices around the world, different countries we're in. So a very global company in nature. We have more than 20,000 users on the system, and as I said, about 300 customers on the system, about 2,000 employees in the company. And then I think we are unique compared to many other companies in the sense of we have, for all of our history, invested very much into R&D. So today we spend more than 20% of our revenue every year in R&D, and that means that more than a third of the company is actually employed in R&D. So a very innovative company, a very technology-driven company is what SimCorp is, which is also why partnerships is important to us. If we look at some of the customers and clients that we have around the world, you see some of the list on this one, and what you see is that they kind of group into different buckets. So there's a set of asset managers and banks and so on, and I'm sure that you will recognize some of the names on this one, like companies like Franklin Templeton, Fannie Mae, UBS, big customers. Some of them running $1 trillion through the system on a yearly basis. So really big customers. Fund management, insurance, some of the biggest insurance companies in the world is also represented here. AXA Generali in Europe, and also a number of larger US companies as well. Life and pension, you kind of take the who's who of pension in Canada, in the Nordics, and so on, and they are customers of SimCorp as well. On the asset servicing side, we work with a number of banks that services the asset managers and the investment managers around the world. So again, as you can see, these are some of the biggest companies around the world in this space. We are very proud to have these as customers of SimCorp, but at the same the trends in their industry is very clearly one that is putting more and more pressure on them. What you're seeing is that we see fee pressure coming in. Pressure on the margin is part of this. There's an industry consolidation, so you're seeing kind of all of the asset managers consolidate. We just saw Franklin Templeton, Lake Mason get into this. We see more and more investment in multi-asset strategies, and as Thomas also mentioned, ESG is becoming an increasingly important part of what asset managers and investment managers have to think about investing in a sustainable way. There's a big driver on digitization to get to more access to customers and so on in a digital way, and with the pandemic that has increased for sure. Then there's a drive for efficiency, more data, kind of being much better at the operational stage, given the cost pressure, given the pressure on the system. Then saving cost, being more operationally proficient is really getting important. And then there's a big focus on algorithms, smart beta, factor investment, proprietary algorithms that drives investment. So each of these are data-driven, it's science-driven, it's algorithmic-driven, and that also means there's a lot of innovation going on in this area. And as you can see on the right-hand side, there's a kind of, you see some of the numbers that goes into this. So an industry that is changing, an industry that is up for innovation all the time, an industry that is very good for small companies to access and give input in. Part of the challenges in this one is how do you get access to these big companies? Many of these big companies have systems that are not integrated. They are in many different systems. They are best of breed, you can say, and that gives many of these customers a difficulty in responding to change. It has cost to adapt to this, and it inhibits kind of the cross-handling of data. It also makes it difficult for innovation to happen. It makes it difficult for small companies to come in and have a conversation with these companies because they'll then suddenly have to integrate to many different systems. With what we provide, which is one system front to back, covering all of the processes that a company has and covering all of the assets classes that a company invests in, all the way from fixed income, equities, and all the way to alternative real estate, private equity, and so on. Having one system to integrate to allows these partners a much better opportunity. They can come in, they can talk to integrating into one system, the system that SimCorp provides. So if you look at it, then our idea is that the customer having one integrated system has a much better operating platform, lower cost, opportunity to be global, and so on. SimCorp, by partnering with some of these FinTech companies out there, can give the customer more optionality, give the customer kind of more richness in the types of applications they can access, and so on. And for the partner, many times the difficulty is to access these big companies. If you're a small company, how do you then get access to these big companies? How do you, who do you talk to, and how do you integrate into this? So I think as SimCorp, we can simplify this. We've got good connection to these many customers around the world, and we can bring kind of the system vendor, the integrator into this. We can bring kind of the innovator, the startup, the FinTech into this in a much easier way, providing them the access, the marketing into these big customers. So in some senses, if you look at kind of the value chain that any of these investment managers have, all the way from aggregating data, portfolio construction, and all the way through the investment cycle, and then back to settlement, risk management, and so on, I think there's opportunity to integrate some of these innovators and some of these FinTechs into this. So at each of these points, a lot of opportunity. One opportunity, as I talked to, is ESG. So there's a lot going on in trying to figure out which companies are really sustainable, how do I build a portfolio of sustainable companies, how do I build a fund that has sustainability and allow people to invest along with that. There's the next piece is how do I then construct a portfolio, how do I optimize my portfolio. That can be towards ESG, it could be towards any other objective I might have. But portfolio construction, portfolio optimization is really important. And then maybe towards the end of this, you will see kind of stuff like taxes, withholding tax, and so on becoming important in this. I'll give you these three examples as companies we've partnered with. One is EBlue that has kind of all of the ESG functionality. They can kind of do the ratings of each of the assets. They can attribute KPIs to them according to the sustainability goals and other metrics that is out there. You can have custom ratings, risk assessment of each of these companies, and then given the policy definitions and so on, decide which ones fits into your portfolio. So they provide all of the data. We can easily integrate that data into the bigger system and make all of that data available to a portfolio manager that needs to figure out what their portfolio should be. Another example is the company called WTax, which is somebody who helps you reclaim withholding tax. So funds will typically have taxes sitting behind where they have to reclaim that tax from the country where the assets are in. And typically when you employ something like this, you're able to get a good part of the investment back. Up to 5 bips in this is the target. So a lot of opportunity in getting a more profitable fund based on also being able to reclaim the withholding taxes that are out there. The last one I want to mention is Intellibonds that we're just announcing a partnership with today. This is a company that does portfolio optimization, portfolio construction as well. And they use AI for this. So by using AI, they're able to help construct the right set of portfolios and so on, specifically in a complicated area like fixed income. So we're going to talk more about this as we get into the panel after this. But again, a good sign or a good example of a smaller company integrating into the value chain, having access to all of the customers that SimCorp have today, and we'll be happy to help them kind of make this available to all of the customers we have out there. So 3 examples of partnerships along the value chain that we are servicing our customers with. So that's it. There's more opportunity. So far, we are getting close to about 100 partners that we partner with this way, and there's still opportunity for more. So if you're somebody out there, FinTech, watching this thinking, wow, that would be interesting to get access to these 300 customers, then this is a small shingle or a short advertisement for you to get in touch, and we'll see what we can do to also create a partnership with you and get you access to all of the customers we have, and potentially you can help us get more customers as well. Thank you.